From the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Rookie Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to the brand new Rangers fans podcast. It's all about the Gers. It's myself, Ricki Neill, and my two amazing guests, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller. How you doing, guys?
Well, one amazing guest.
One amazing guest.
Just an
Derek.
Aye.
Derek.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing?
Very
Good,
well.
good.
Well, let's tell the truth. I'm a wee bit rough. It was my birthday yesterday.
That's right. Happy birthday, aye.
Aye.
Happy 52nd.
Oh, thanks very much. He texted me happy 60th. You cheeky bugger.
What was it?
What?
50.
55.
Glorious number.
I love that number. I wish it had been last.
I didn't realise Durante was older than you. 'Cause he was 55 last year, wasn't he?
He's about 10 years old, didn't he? So he does. You not like that, right? You know?
Not at all.
Nah, I had a great wee day. So I did. Just a family around and that, and so a few glasses of wine were shared.
Me and Charlie were starting to get worried that you weren't going to show. I thought you'd hit that brick wall again.
I know. I've just looked at the sheet here, and it's a look back at Seville. So, and you witnessed me hitting that brick wall.
Do you know? I think we'll probably start with Charlie's Seville.
Aye, I think you're better.
Aye, but just
better off talking to
I
Charlie.
don't know if I remember either.
So, what did you do for Seville, Charlie?
Well, I flew to Edinburgh to Valencia to Malaga, then got a bus to Benalmádena. A bus down for Benalmádena to Seville on the Wednesday morning. Went to the game, got dropped off at the Beanbag Stadium. I went to two of my boys with a few beers. You can tell I've been shouting yesterday. I had a tournament all day yesterday, and I've been shouting at the kids, and my throat's killing me. So we get dropped off at the Beanbag Stadium in our bus, into the two of my boys and a few beers and that. And then I say to the boys, right lads, I'm going to go and go to the game. And they're like, right, no problem, we'll see you back later on. So I decided to walk an hour back away to the beanbag bus again. I went back to the stadium, but it was getting beanbagged again. I'm like, oh no, and it was 40 degrees. Oh, the blisters were massive in my heels. And then went to the game and was greeting nearly. Practically sick as a parrot.
It was amazing. I mean, myself and Derek, we went to Benavis, but we went to Sunday, and the atmosphere was amazing, wasn't it, Derek? I mean, everybody wanted Rangers to win, and that was even 2.5 hours away, wasn't it?
Do you know, it's one of the best days out I've ever had. Now, you know that. You're talking about greeting, because all my boys were out. Darren, Ross, Lewis, and then Barry's boys, they met up with us as well, Connor and Kyle. I was in tears. I don't know. It was maybe emotion. A few drinks as well, but just the atmosphere that day that you're talking about, the build-up, it was incredible. And then Charlie's telling us his story of how he got there. I think everybody out there has got an amazing story how they got there.
Well, everything was €5. Every drink was €5, right? And I stayed in Seville that night of the game, and me and my mate got a taxi down to Ferro in the morning.
Right.
So I went into a wee coffee shop, I had a beer, I was gasping it, and my mate had a coffee.
You don't do coffee shop.
And my mate had a coffee, and it was €3.60 for the coffee and the beer. But everything else the day before was a €5.
Aye.
That was ridiculous.
Seeing the beanbag, is that right? They were giving you non-alcoholic lager or not?
I was at the game. I went
Did you go back?
I went back to the beanbag thinking I was going to the stadium, and I went, that's not the stadium. And I had to jump a taxi and pay back.
And this is probably a good time for me to apologise to you, because you ended up looking after me.
You would have done the same for me.
You kidding?
But after the game as well, using that Google Maps to try and find your way back, it was just ridiculous.
I just followed him, like a wee collie dog.
Do you know, it was funny, myself and Derek ended up watching it in a Japanese restaurant on my phone.
Oh, did you not go to the game?
No, we get let down with tickets at the last minute, unfortunately, but...
I don't think I was fit for purpose either, but then when you hear what unfolded, you know...
That was ridiculous. I stood outside for an hour.
Aye.
Outside for an hour.
Seriously?
Waiting in the queues, roasting hot, no drink or nothing to get in. It was ridiculous.
It was some experience. We were trying to get to the game, right, and we knew it was going to take a good half an hour walk, right, so we all chipped in and got a horse and cart. And what was it like? It was going through all these wee alleyways and all that, and then the next minute
Steptoe, son.
We just turned this corner, right, and it was as if we were right in front of the Union Bears march. And it was as if we were leading the way in this horse and cart, man. It was brilliant, wasn't it?
No, because I was sleeping at that time. I was out for the count.
Well, it's a Google Maps, so I'm using this Google Maps, and I'm hopeless with technology, and I'm following, and I'm going round the same way all the time. I went past this kebab shop and pub about 4 times, and I'm like, that's telling me something. So I end up in the pub. I said to my mates, you can come and find me. So they ended up coming to find me, and then all the Germans came in, 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to get slapped here, but they were brand new.
You've got previous with Germans. Well,
Big
one
George.
man,
Well,
big,
one
big,
Big George.
big Albers.
That's right. There was a wee training incident, wasn't there?
He's never been the same after it.
But it's an amazing time, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again this year.
Oh God, hey, I hope. Listen, it was amazing. That when it, everything about it. So and it begins tomorrow tonight. So listen, fingers crossed.
Well, we'll come to that. We're going to talk about the new signings and see what you think so far. So we've signed Ben Davies, Ridvan Yilmaz, Rabi Matondo, Antonio Kolak, I don't know if I've said that right, Tom Lawrence, John Souttar and Malik Tillman. Who out of they is kind of stood out for you so far?
Well, first of all, can we talk about Big Souttar? Because he's getting a bit of stick.
Getting a bit of stick,
I
isn't he?
think it's a wee bit unfair. Yes, he'll be disappointed, himself with his defending, against Big Newbley on Saturday. But the one thing, any time I've watched him, I cover some of the games, as you know, I think he's an outstanding player. So as and we've got to realise when you go to a club like Rangers, there is a settling-in period, and it's not just things don't click and everything goes into place.
He'll be a good player.
He is but that's the thing.
But the thing
he
is
a good player, and I just think it takes a bit of time. And this is what people players, they don't realise actually what it takes to play for Rangers until you're there, and it does come with pressure. So allow him a wee bit of time to settle in, and in the future he's going to be a big player for us because he's at a good age. He's a young guy. He's had issues previous, obviously with injury problems, but that surface probably
That's
doesn't
what I
help.
was just about to say. The surface, your first game for Rangers,
Aye.
proper competitive game, and you're playing it.
Another thing
Almond
as
Vale.
well, Charlie, we think back about Big Bassey. He had a rough start to his Rangers career, but look.
See when you look back at Bassey and Patterson, do you remember all the Rangers fans were wanting to get them away for Ibrox because they'd done the COVID thing?
That's right.
I mean,
Party.
and a lot of people seem to forget, like everybody was wanting them out because of that, and then look what happened.
40 million later.
I was probably one of the ones that, about disciplining them,
Aye.
of course.
You know at the party, no?
I think Charlie was at the party.
Probably was Charlie. I thought.
I was going to ask him what your kids were shouting at you. We'll not go there. But see, the big fella, he's a different class. He's going to be different class for us. I'm quite sure of that.
Like we were just talking about, like Seville. Me and Derek had the pleasure of staying in Benavis for a week, so we actually watched the cup final. And
How good was
what
it?
were you like? You were saying, "What's he doing? What's he doing?"
Because I was cracking up,
Aye.
because I was going like, because he was brilliant.
Aye,
That day,
did well,
Charlie,
did
and I'm
play well
going,
that day.
why is he even playing? Because he was outstanding that day. Any ball that
I
came
could
into
be a
the
good
box.
signing.
Aye,
Will he start? I don't think he'll start every game, obviously, but he's a right good squad player if he's going to be a squad player. Because obviously, I think it looks like Goldson and Ben Davies, when fit and properly match fit or whatever, he'll start. Because I think obviously playing the left centre back and right centre back combo always works, and Goldson's obviously the number one centre back, I would imagine.
I think he's definitely got it. I think he done it with West Ham, and he done it the other day. He beat about 3-4 players, but then he looked burst after it.
aye.
You know what I mean? But maybe it's just match fitness as well. I don't know.
But as fans, and this is why we're on here, because we are just like the fans, and you do get a bit emotional. But I just think, and I was talking to my boys that are on social media, and he was getting a wee bit far too much stick for my liking. But the big fella, as I say, give him a wee bit of time to settle in, because it does you need time to adjust at a club like Rangers.
I mean, Rabi Matondo and Kolak, Charlie, they look like really good players as well, didn't they?
Well, I seen Matondo's goal in the West Ham game. Looked lively. Seen a wee bit of that. Looked lively, so he did. And Kolak looks as if he can lead the line quite well. I still think we need another striker if Morelos isn't going to stay. We don't know the situation yet, but obviously good news last week with Gio saying that it looks as if he's going to sign a new contract.
Him and Kent, I think.
Aye, well, that would be great, but we'll see what happens. But I still think we need one or two more players in.
Felt a wee bit frustrated for Kolak on Saturday, certainly the first half. I think we get into a wee bit of partner play. We overplayed at times. And certainly when you go to a place like Livingston, they just sit in. Sometimes, and they've done it in the second half, just put the ball into an area, put it into the box. It doesn't have to be precise. But you saw a wee gist it when that ball goes in. He gets his head on it. you know, and it was a fraction offside if it was, you know, but I just think when you look at him, the stature of him, you know, I think forwards, and you'll probably, obviously he knows this better than me, you know, once you look at a player and they're ready to deliver, you know, you need that wee half yard to get the edge on who you're up against. So I just like to see the deliveries go in a wee bit quicker. You know, as I say, for me it was trying to be too precise. But he's a good out ball as well. But I don't think we used him.
But you know what it's like at Allenville, especially going 1-0 down after 5 minutes, and they're going to sit in. The pitch wouldn't have been watered, not a chance in itself. And
it was very roasting.
Dry.
It was sticking.
It was hot on Saturday as well, sticky as anything. And David Martindale's a clever guy. He's not going to water that pitch so that Rangers can go and play their football. Definitely no. So it's sticky, it's horrible. And first game of the season, always difficult games. Just getting the victory was massive.
So they defended their box really well. But that's how I'm saying. You don't need to be precise. Have a hit at goal, deflections, anything.
Do you know, I was going to come to this later, but do you know we actually had 38 crosses in the game? Do you know which kind of worries me a wee bit? I think we're being a bit too predictable, constantly running down the wings. You know, I think we need to be a bit more direct. You know, but you're saying just get it in the box and.
Aye, at certain times, I just think we get in. That's what I'm saying. A partner, a play. But it's because we had so much of the ball, and it was pass. You know, and as I say with Big Colak, you know, you need service and. I was looking at him and I'm thinking he must be getting a wee bit frustrated, you know, so don't overplay it, you know, and again, shots for distance, I think that was something that we've covered that in the past, you know, but it doesn't need to always be precise, you know, it takes a wee deflection or something.
The thing is, you always want the corners, the crosses coming for the byline, but the goal we got is we can't cut in, and a great run for Arfield, he's great at that, you know, and great header. What a header that was.
That wee Martindale says he's banned for Livy for doing.
I think that's another wee strand off Arfield's
but that's
hair in it. He's another strand less.
And that's what you love about Arfield. You know, he's on the bench, doesn't feel sorry for himself, doesn't spit a dummy. He's ready to come on. He does a job for us.
I love Arfield, I think.
He's brilliant, isn't he? I love his attitude as much as anything. But look at the vital goals he gets you know, and so hard to pick up, you know, that kind of late run.
Derek, your boys left Aberdeen now. Loads of people have been linking them with Rangers. Was there any link there?
No, absolutely nothing.
No?
I was out and about in the part of the world, you know, that I live in, and a lot of the guys were asking me, but there was absolutely there was nothing for Rangers. So I think listen, he's a big. You've heard me saying it. He's probably the biggest Rangers supporter in the family, believe it or not. Lewis, of course, that's what I was just talking about. He was on Seville. We're talking about planes, trains and automobiles, how he got to Seville. But no, I think hopefully...
His was probably just a private jet.
No, but do you know, he's head screwed on. He wants to go and test himself abroad. He just wants to become a better player, and that's what I love about him. So, and it's like fingers crossed somewhere down the line, and you need a hell of a lot of luck, you know. And he might get that wee bit of luck and maybe end up at Rangers, but it's about becoming better, because if you're going to get that opportunity to go to Rangers, you've got to be a quality player, and that's what he's aspiring to. He's a good player at the minute. He's doing extremely well. But he wants to be even better, and that's what I love about him.
How's he enjoying it over there so far?
He loves it. Do you know that? It's
only spaghetti bolognese.
He's back now, Charlie, for to get his visa.
Right.
So, but he was telling us a little bit about the training, about the lifestyle and that, and even the training grounds. You know, all the stuff that goes on there, the staff, and his eating habits already changed already. They olive oil and everything. I think he put olive oil in their cornflakes or whatever, but no, he's in the process of, and it's like, we're talking about Big Souttar. It's going to take Lewis a wee bit of time to settle in, the language barrier as well.
Took him a lot of time to settle in at Aberdeen as well with the language barrier, did it not?
No, he was off and running, wasn't he? When he
I know. Just tell him not to do a Gaza and put red wine in his water bottle for pre-season.
So the question you asked, there was never any interest for Rangers. No, not at all. So there was a wee bit of talk about Celtic.
Aye.
Which but that would not have been allowed in my house with the boys. His brothers, man. You know, Darren and Ross, what they're like. Nah, there was
no chance.
That was never going to happen. No chance.
Right, so, like Charlie was saying, we think we need to kind of strengthen up at the strikers. What about yourself, Derek?
Listen, I want Morelos back. I want him fit and firing on all cylinders. And if we get him back, it'll be interesting because when you look at Kolak, I don't think he's a guy that probably needs to play with a partner.
I've been given into trouble, by the way. It's Cholak.
Is it Cholak? Because
Cholak.
we weren't sure, so Cholak.
Cholak.
So, but it's like Morelos, I think it was it last season, Morelos played with a partner at times and it didn't really suit him. Right. I think it suits Morelos to be up on his own.
Have a partner that was playing me probably didn't suit. I think it was more Eaton, wasn't it? Probably.
Aye, you
Right.
know.
It's just, no, he's no one. You don't know what Eaton's going to do because I don't think really the big man knew much what he was going to do. Although he did okay, but and don't want to slag a boy, but it was just not good enough. You know, I thought he was kind of similar to maybe Canberra. I didn't think he was any better than that. But wish the big man all the luck. But I think obviously we need another striker. We need an outlet sometimes because we're talking about it earlier that we'll just pass. Sometimes you do have to just play the ball long and get up and play for the second ball. And we don't do that enough. But at home against teams especially, obviously we've got 95% of the ball probably, you know, and teams are just sitting in.
I think when Gio came as well, Morelos changed the style of play because it's as if when Gerrard was there, Morelos was running about everywhere. He was running back halfway line, whereas Gio's just said, listen,
just stay for
just
the
up
middle.
the top.
So
You know what I mean?
maybe coached a wee bit better. He looked certainly a wee bit fitter as well. And that's when you look at the Rangers side towards the end of the season, tail end of last season. How fit did they look? They looked
I think
great.
they were on that. It was the adrenaline, I think, wasn't it?
But the
adrenaline.
the games.
Oh, I know, they were unbelievable.
And I get because adrenaline takes you so far, but I just seen a change in them, you know. And I don't know, again, you know, training wise what they're doing, or you know, again down to diets. But that's what a new manager comes in a club. He changes things around to get the best out of the players, and certainly that's what the manager.
When Advocate came in. He was telling us to slow down in training. I'm like, I love this guy. Pre-season training, slow down. I'm like,
Seriously?
aye.
Well, see, that's what Lewis was saying. He says they were getting thumped into each other in training, and I was like, you kidding me on? Because even in pre-season, just what you're saying, you don't want to pick up any stupid injuries or anything. But Lewis couldn't believe it. He says they were all getting tore into each other. So he was like, "You're a beauty. I'll have a wee bit of that."
Well, mind you, used to always say, like, when you were training with Rangers, it was full on, but what was yours like, Charlie?
100% it was. See, games, when the Advocate came in, it came a bit less, obviously, but with Walter, see your Friday 7-a-side game, oh my word, it was tackles everywhere.
Aye.
Because you wanted to win. You wanted to play on a Saturday.
Shinny zone.
100%.
Just going back to the game, were you surprised at McLaughlin starting, Charlie?
I'm actually, I love Griggs. I'm actually surprised to get Griggs in our year. I'm happy because I think he's a great goalkeeper. I think he'll still be number one. I was surprised that McLaughlin started the cup final, especially because obviously Griggs had played in the European final, and bringing him on in the last minute in the
everybody thought that was a good buy, wasn't it?
I thought it was a good buy, and obviously they turned around and he gave him a year, which is, for me, he's a great goalkeeper, and he made a couple of mistakes last season, but some of the saves he made were unbelievable for us. And sometimes these things happen, you make a wee mistake, maybe concentration, but he's definitely, I think Griggs will still be number one, I think. But McLaughlin is a very, very good goalkeeper. I like McLaughlin.
See what you touched on earlier? I think that's why he's chose McLaughlin, about the part, it being sticky. I think McLaughlin is better than Griggsy with his feet. As a goalkeeper, I think McGregor's, I mean, you know what I think of McGregor? I think he's top notch. For me, he's a better goalkeeper, but McLaughlin, better with his feet. Maybe a surface like that, it is a bit sticky, you're no kind of sure.
Maybe Griggsy's past injuries as well on that surface.
There you go, aye. And that's what I was saying about.
But I'm surprised Souttar played it, because his cruciates and all that. I'm surprised he played.
Do you know the thing about McLaughlin? I think he's a brilliant keeper, right? But I love the way Griggsy demands everything for the defence, and he shouts at them constantly. You know, he's all constantly on his case. But McLaughlin doesn't seem to do that. You know, I think he looks too nice, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Different characters, isn't it? That's he looks an angry man, McGregor.
Aye, that's what I mean.
Aye, which is good.
And I think being a keeper,
well, you know him better than most.
I think being a keeper, that's like, obviously he can see everything that's going on in the park. So I think he should be like a captain, basically, just shouting at the defence. But
different styles, different characters. I mean, McLaughlin, you look at him, he just looks so laid back.
Aye.
When you look at McGregor, he looks so fired up. But I think, does that not come into the because he's so much a Rangers fan, and you can see it coming through in him, and I think that's what the punters love. I love that.
Do you know, I
'Cause
think
we laugh at him. I laugh. I find it quite funny at times when I see him getting angry, getting off his
Do you know, remember he done a brilliant save in Europe last year? He like tipped it over the bar, but he was screaming at the ref to say he never touched it. And he was like so convincing.
I know, just take a save, don't you?
That's it, I mean, with some saving all, but who do you think's going to start tomorrow then?
I would go with McGregor.
Aye.
Away from home, yep, definitely, because he's proven in Europe. We talk about some of the amazing saves that he's pulled off, but it's that experience. And yeah, McLaughlin is a good keeper, but when you're in Europe, I think experience is
100%. But I think it depends how they play. See if they're putting a lot of crosses into your box or whatever, and if that's the way they play, I think they might go with McLaughlin then.
That's because
McLaughlin against Celtic, I think he caught every cross, he came for every corner.
Point, Charlie. That's
so
a great
maybe
point.
that's maybe. If it depends how they play, I think, but McLaughlin's a very good.
I mean, you talk about McGregor not coming, and we talk about but I can't believe we're going to say it now. The late great now Andy Gorham. You know, the goalie never came for a lot of crosses, but and that's he's like McGregor in that sense that, but as a shot stopper, second to none. But there's a good point because I think they play two up top. His team tomorrow night, so I don't know are they a physical team? So that's a great point, Charlie. Because if there is a lot of balls going into the box, maybe McLaughlin's a better option.
Mm-hmm.
So it is.
I know a few people in here actually saying they actually prefer McLaughlin because he doesn't shout at the defence. It's as if the defence plays better.
But then that's again, it's like, what do you like, even as a centre back, as a full back? I mean, I look at Barisic. Now, I think if you're shirking somebody like Barisic, I think he goes into a shell. So it's different characters out there, and it's about knowing your players, who to give it to, and who just to back off a wee bit.
Do you know, I was really surprised yesterday, and it's the first time I've seen Tav doing it, but Barisic made the mistake so that they got their first goal. And Tav ran right over the other end of the park and he was having a right go at him.
Good.
You know what I mean?
That's the way it should be.
No, but you're just... Barisic, like, he needs a cuddle and goes, right, come on, mate, go on, mate, and then get the head up or whatever. Whereas he could shout at Tav all day. He just gets so, mate, makes a mistake and gets next minute he's get the ball and he's running up the line again. I think there's some people that can handle it and there's some people that can't. And I think Barisic is one that can't handle the shuriken. Because he does get into shout and you see him. Like the Old Firm game at
they should have been hooked after 20 minutes for me. I know
December, January, whatever.
He went mentally,
he'd gone and it was a shame. And obviously, it could have been off earlier, but
there's no doubt Barisic is a terrific football player. He's got great delivery. But the one thing I don't know if you'll agree with me here, Charlie, I mean, I was going to say I was pulling my hair out. But that one he pulls out. The boy Devlin's a 50-50 on Saturday, and I like to see my fullbacks, my defenders, go and meet that head on, that challenge. And there's sometimes the fans, there's nothing better than seeing that, a fully committed, tackle. And, I saw him pulling out it, so I was shouting and bawling at the telly, so I was.
Sorry, I was just reading. There's loads and loads of questions filing, which is great for our first podcast. I'm going to move on. Obviously, we've no seen each other because we were still celebrating 55 last season, so we've not really spoke about Gio. But how do you think Gio's is getting on, like, already?
Well, I played with Gio and I got on well with Gio. I think obviously winning the cup was a big bonus for him. Getting to the Europa League final, obviously, I think it was huge for him because that 7 point ended up 13 point the other way practically, didn't it? Or 11 points, it ended up whatever. We were 7 ahead and ended up losing the league by about 4 points or something. It was a dramatic change. Obviously, the Thursday nights became very important because we wanted to win the Europa League, and I believe winning the Europa League would have been one of the greatest achievements ever.
Right.
Obviously,
so close as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but obviously no winning the league. But Giovanni, I think if we didn't get to the final of that, he might have been struggling because of the. Obviously, he's not design signings and that. I get that, but you can see he's passionate about the job. He wants to do well, and we have to give him time, obviously, and I'm sure we will. He's not a daft guy. He knows what he wants to do.
That's one thing he's no, because I mean, after that, we're talking about that Celtic game when they absolutely pummeled us. I was pretty angry about it, but the important thing is the manager learned from that. I liked the way he's tinkered with his formation. at times as well. You know, going to a 3 at the back. Even the use of Lundstrom, you know, dropping them into that kind of.
To be fair, sorry, Derek.
Oh, you go.
The one thing he has done is made Lundstrom a player.
Yes.
Not made him a player, but there was a player there. But
I thought he was brilliant again yesterday.
Yep.
Excellent.
that's the thing. And Lundstrom was on the periphery under Gerrard. He was there or thereabouts, but he didn't. And you're talking about fitness. He looks a totally different player. And obviously that match fitness helps, and you get a run of games, and that helps. But oh my word, what a good player he's become.
And in games, he's tinkered a wee bit, he's changed it. Just wee things, wee small details. Even on Saturday, you know, bringing on Arfield, you know, and changing up a wee bit. So, and maybe even to us, you know, you maybe don't see the wee kind of tweaks, but just wee fine details. And he's got that down to a T. And that's the other thing I was going to add, because under Van Bronckhorst, we look a fit team, and I think that is important as well. You have that physicality as well. We can play, but I just like there's wee fine details that he just kind of just manoeuvres at times.
Aye. How much, like, see all the players that we've just signed, I think there's about 7 players. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's football's changed now, and you've got Ross Wilson, things like that. How much involvement do you think Gio's actually got?
He's got to have involvement. He's got to.
I hope so.
They've got to be on the same wavelength. If they're not on the same wavelength, you know, you may as well not be in the job. Because it's no use you signing a player, the guy signing players that he thinks are good and you don't think they're good. So they've got to be on the same wavelength. Not a club like us. We can't be having Pedro Coutinho's and all that here again and acting like. We have to be the same wavelength as each other as in director of football and manager. Has to be.
I think always the final say has got to be with the manager. And I don't want I can give a wee example, and it's with Lewis. There was a team, I'll not mention the team down in England that were interested in him, but the manager hadn't seen him in the flesh, and that's what he wanted to see him before making that final decision. But for whatever reason he didn't get to see him. But I think that's important. Aye, that's why you've got your recruitment, you've got so many players for a specific position, but the final say is got to come from them. Oh, big time, but go and watch them.
But there's
and meet them, you need to meet them, I know, Charlie, to find out what they're like as people, what their character's like.
Well, Bomber and that are all over the place.
Aye.
Looking at players. So they're all year round, they're looking at players. So Bomber might be, Rangers might be playing on Saturday, but Bomber might be in, for instance, Belgium or whatever. And obviously they'll see these players 5 or 6 times, and then obviously I'd imagine Ross Wilson will be there maybe after, for instance, Bomber saying, giving a guy a glowing report, and then Giovanni might even take in, he'll probably be watching it in Y Scout or whatever and saying aye or no or whatever.
And find out their background, what they're like in the dressing room. Are they a bad apple? Well, you don't want them there. So you find out their character, what they're like behind the scenes. So it's like you need a detective, don't you? Yeah. You know, but you need to find out all these things, because there's no point in bringing in a terrific player if he's going to upset the dressing room.
Bomber,
so
you're a bad apple.
Well, you just don't mess with Bomber. That's it. You just stay out his way.
I know that. There's a story you tell when we do our wee Q&As. We'll not tell it in this because it'll spoil it, but it's a classic, and we've got a few gigs coming up soon. The 3 of us were going over to Aboness, aren't we, on the 29th?
Right.
So
When is that, 20 for what?
October.
Right.
So plenty of time to go on your holiday and top up that tan.
I know, look at the colour of him.
I can't believe it. I'm just back to Spain now.
Sunbed Charlie.
That definitely no sunbeds. That's stunning. That's at camps all week and then stunning at tournaments all weekend.
Brilliant.
In that sun.
So do you think we're going to sign anybody else before the transfer window closes?
Well, I think there's one. I think there's one.
Suarez that I told you.
I know. He's 20 national and back in Uruguay or something.
I'm never listening to that contact again.
Where do you think we could strengthen?
I still think we need a striker,
Right, that's what Charlie's
but I also think somebody in the defence, because we've not seen Ben Davies yet, and I'm not too sure about Souttar at the moment. But
you're not seeing Ben Davies yet. We've got,
like for Rangers, I mean,
I know, but we've got one that's injured. And what's bloody hell's in my head?
Helander.
Helander. We've got Helander.
Helander. I was thinking of the film.
He's a bloody good player as well when he's fit. He's definitely a good player. And we've got Katic here as well, who I think the big man needs a chance.
I think Katic is away, by the way.
Is he away?
It sounds like he's not getting another chance.
I think the manager had come out and said that, didn't he?
And I think he's still trying to fight. He's still trying to fight for his position.
I think once the manager's, like, you hear that and it comes for the manager, just go and find yourself.
Especially a Dutchman. Advocate sends a letter to your door. You've been at Rangers since you were 11 years old. And he sends a letter through your door saying you have to train with the kids. I'm like, I can be baldy shithead.
How are you?
sorry. But that's what me and McKinnon's got a letter through our door.
Seriously?
Aye, we didn't even get talked face to face, and then we're walking through a marble staircase to go up to for our lunch, and Dick gives it and goes, "Hey Charlie, how are you?" And I'm like, oh, I can't even see it, what I said to him. And then he phones my agent and says, "Why is Charlie like that?" And he goes, "You've just killed him."
That's shocking.
Aye, it was.
But you wonder if Dick realised, you know, what the club meant to Charlie, so they don't get that. You know, it's because it's everything, innit? And that's like, I mean, I've been well documented with me and Graham Souness, the way what happened with me, but at least I was told face to face.
If Advocate just came and says, right,
you
you
respect
respect that, you respect that.
that.
You always have to hear it for the manager just to say, you're right, we don't fancy it, simple as that. You can take that, but not let it through your door. That was
That's not the Rangers way, innit?
No.
You know what I mean?
signed off by David Murray.
Aye. Hey, I'm going to go into some questions because they're flying
fire
through.
in.
By the way, somebody's asked where the questions are coming from, because I think one person must only have one question in a wee social media post and not realising that it comes through for YouTube and Twitter and everything, so there's loads. Grant McDuff is saying, what's your thoughts on Roofe?
I think he's a very good player, I really do, but obviously injury prone.
Injury prone.
His injuries are incredible for what he gets, but he works his socks off and he scores goals. He makes a difference for us when he's playing. I wouldn't be glad to see him leave, definitely not. But obviously his injury concerns are a bit of a worry for him. You know, it must be doing his head in.
Aye.
It must be hard for him mentally. One thing about Roofe is he's a talented boy, he is a good player when he's fully fit, and that's the issue. That's the problem. He's always going to have, it looks like, with his calves. So, and again, from a manager's point of view, you look at that as well. You know, do you want somebody that's going to only play a certain percentage of games? Everything's took into account, but I really feel for the boy
100%.
because any time Charlie he's played for us, you can see he gives it his all.
But plus, we don't know his problem. Coist had problems with his calf, but we knew Coist's problem is beer calf.
Brilliant. My wee friend, Jamesy Lyle's saying the Kent's out tomorrow. That's a big blow on it.
It is, by the way, because as I say, I think he's a top player. I think it is a big season for Kent as well. I like him. I just like his attitude as well, because as a winger, you know, you kind of go through these wee periods where you're not kind of hitting the heights, but he doesn't shirk away from it, and that's what I love about him, that he doesn't shirk it. So in big games like that, a wee bit of pace, a wee bit of trickery, he can conjure up something out of nothing. You know, so it will be a miss. But again, we're going over there. And listen, don't take them lightly tomorrow. We were talking about before we come on here. They've not been beat in pre-season. They've beat Feyenoord 4-0 as well. They've started their campaign. They've not been beat. So I think they drew with Brighton, Sporting Lisbon. So this is not a bad outfit. So we've got to be respectful. So maybe we'll play it a wee bit kind of maybe Kent wouldn't have figured. I don't know. Tomorrow night.
I think Kent would have figured just for the out ball, just for his pace, just when we're in the counter attack or whatever. Just that I think it definitely figured. But obviously Lawrence can go into that side or whatever.
Yeah.
I like Lawrence as well. Getting him for for nothing.
He's a great player, isn't he?
Great bit of
I've been
business.
impressed with him actually so far. Wee Rabbi, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Is it Rabbi Matondo? He's travelling tomorrow, so that's a good sign as well.
He was electric when he came on against West Ham. Was it West Ham? Him and Lawrence come on, didn't they, for Wright and Jack? And what a difference they made. That just direct and pace. That's what we're talking about, Kent. But Matondo, I love that. There's nothing better seeing players that go at people, you know, because we love that. We enjoy watching it. But so I hope he's fully fit, you know. And listen, when guys are blessed with that pace, they seem to pick up wee niggles, you know. And that's what I like about Kent, because he plays a hell of a lot. Kent, he gets kicked up and down the back, but he's a hardy wee.
There's guys with pace, and you think they've not got the brain to go with it, but I think Matondo's got the brain to go with it. I think he's got a football brain.
Do you know, there's Paul Martin actually talking about Kent. He's saying he wants to see more goals for Kent this season.
Oh, 100%. I want to see more from him, because he's got so much talent, and it frustrates me at times because he has got so much talent, and I think he can do more. Everybody can do more, obviously, you think, but I think Kent has got more to give. I really do.
I think he realises that himself, probably, Charlie. That's the next step for Kent, you know, is to add goals. you know, and because the player he is, the ability he's got, he should be at least hitting 10 goals for me
At
in
least.
a season. Aye, definitely.
I would be actually looking for more with the way he
aye.
plays and he's how high up he is, and because he's like practically a winger striker, isn't he? So yeah.
And I mean, I spoke to so many people and they always say that he's got so much more to give. Even at training, he's a totally different player for when he comes on that park. But I think sometimes he goes in a 3 or 4 game run where he's amazing, and he just goes into hiding a couple of games, I know.
But is that no typical of that type of player? You know, I mean, we all want that 9 out of 10 every week, but I think with players that ability, you know, and I look way back in my time, and we all loved David Cooper. David Cooper was the best player ever watched, ever played with. But Coop had dips at times as well. So I think sometimes we've got to remember that. But I just think for the type of player he is, the number of games that he plays, we're looking for a better return goal-wise. But he makes up for that with me is because I like his attitude. He never shucks. He doesn't hide.
I think the problem is my problem is no, it's not a problem. He's still young, and I forget that. I forget that sometimes as well. He's still, I think he's 23 or something like that. If he even is that.
I think
Is
is he? I'm not sure his age, but
so wingers don't really start producing their game in, game out until they're probably about 26, 27. Maybe, you know what I mean? They're no they don't bring that consistency until they're a bit older.
Aye. There's Chick Sharp. He's saying Souttar was actually signed as a right-sided central defender with a view of Goulson possibly going.
And that was mentioned. I was listening to a few people at the weekend speaking about that. You know, we'd already brought him in, obviously in the pre-contract. Thinking, and you know something? I don't know about you, Charlie, and you as well, Ricky. It was a surprise to me that Goulson signed the contract because it was going on forever and ever. And I'm one of the guys that I kind of lose patience a wee bit. You know, and I'm thinking, why you know signing that contract?
I think it's a great signing.
But I'm going, you're at Glasgow Rangers, look round about you. You know, where are you going to go? Down to England. You know, so why are you taking that amount of time to make up? But then we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and all that. But delighted he stayed, but it was a frustration. It took ages, and I think that's probably why we've signed Souttar. And yep, but I'm of the opinion as well. I know he's a right-sided player playing on the left-hand side. Listen, good players can adapt and can play anywhere. Yeah. That's just.
I think you'll see us playing a free a lot this year as well, though.
Aye, and that's what the manager's done as well, and that's what I like because he can play that.
I think you might see Souttar on the right, Goldson in the middle, and Davis on the left there free.
Aye.
I think you might see that quite a lot, especially when we're at home. And we need to have that one more attacking player on the pitch.
Definitely.
There's Grant McDuff saying, with all the players coming in, do you think the younger players are still going to get a chance?
Do you know, I bloody hope so, but I look at it and I'm thinking, I watched them at Hearts, they were brilliant that day, so they were just watching, it took me back to my time when I was making my debut and playing as a 16, 17-year-old, and those boys, you know, out in that park that day, they loved it. And what I loved about all the young boys, as a collective, they didn't shirk away for it, you know, they'd a wee bit of, it's an old Glasgow word, callousness about them, you know, and when they had that jersey on, you know, they just loved everything about it. They were different classes.
And I think they went to Gouldoon as well, didn't they?
But they were brilliant.
We went to Gouldoon and the boy Lowry looks a proper player. I think he might need to bulk up a wee bit. I think he might need to bulk up a wee bit, but you don't want to bulk him up too much and then he can't run the way he can run now.
I think he should be back soon. And we Divine's meant to be amazing as well.
Aye, there's a few of the fullback. The fullback, that's the...
Aye.
I can.
But they believe that with Lowry, he believes he should be in that first team, and that's what I like. It's a fine line between having that arrogance and that belief, and that's what I loved about all the young boys that day that played. I thought they were a breath of fresh air.
There's nothing up with wanting to play. It's if you're good enough. That's the thing. If you want to play and you're not quite, maybe you're not training well and you're not getting a chance, and you throw the dummy out the pram and you're thinking, I should be playing here. It's how you train on for when you're not getting selected, and then the manager's looking at that because you're young, your chance will come, and it's how you respond to not being in the squad or not starting. So
And they proved they were good enough that day, and that was against a good Hearts side at Tynecastle. Tynecastle's not an easy place to go and
It's
play.
good atmosphere in Tynecastle, isn't it?
Brilliant atmosphere, but I was delighted that day for all the young boys because they were
Jambos,
different class.
they spit blood at you as well when they're outside. It's so close to you. You're like, bloody hell, clean that breath, man.
I think one of them went and hooked Lennon or tried to hit Lennon.
Oh, they're mental.
Right, we're kind of. Can you believe we're already in 40 minutes of the show? It flies in,
That's
doesn't
what I'm saying. Because when you're talking about the Rangers, it does fly in.
It does.
And it's good because, again, like, we're on here. I have a different opinion at times for Charlie, same as you. But we listen to each other, and it's like you get the questions in for the guys. I think that's important because we listen to them. They have an opinion. That's what it's all about.
So, in fact, we'll just skip past the Livy game because we're kind of running out of time. But we'll talk about tomorrow's game. Do you think we're ready for Champions League football, Charlie? Or do you think Europa's kind of our limit now?
Oh, I think we're ready for Champions League football. We're not ready to win it, definitely no, but we're ready to play in the group stages, definitely. And then surprise a few teams and get into the last 16 or whatever. But obviously the money that these European teams in England have got, it's just ridiculous, you know. But we're ready for the step up because we were beating teams who are supposedly Champions League quality last year in Europa. Definitely. So we deserve to get our chance, and I think we should already have qualified for it anyway. We haven't played the qualifiers, but UEFA let 18 other teams for one country in because they want all these big countries, these big teams in, and there's none much bigger than us, and they just don't treat Scottish football very well. But that's the way it is. So,
hey, I think we've got a right manager, a right pedigree in Europe. I think the guys last season they proved that they're comfortable at that level. And I know it was Europa, but look at some of the teams that we put out, and it was our two legs. It wasn't just like a one-off. So we're capable, and that's the next step. So I'm looking forward to the game.
But I think it'll be difficult tomorrow. Definitely be a difficult game.
Well, you've played at that stadium, haven't you, Charlie? What's it like?
I played. It's not their stadium. We're playing it though. I'm playing at Leuven.
Right.
I think it's just along Brussels. It's just along the road. But it wasn't a big stadium either. That one, the other one, but I think it's an Alciter one. But the Union one is like ancient, nearly as old as me and Derek.
As old as me, aye.
Wait, is Jan Kemar?
Well, I don't know why I see you.
No, he's a bit touchy.
You're at it. You're at it.
I spent a week with you there, by the way, in Spain, going to Seville.
I know.
You can get a wee bit touchy.
That's a bit strange, used to, man.
Oh, but Ronnie was there. Stuart.
Ronnie. Well, do you know Stuart's actually just posted on
what a man.
the chat? Stuart was just saying...
and his boy.
Blair's
a lovely.
Because we done they actually thought it was a live broadcast we'd done for the beach, but it turns out I didn't actually push the live button, I just pushed record. So he's saying it reminds me of...
See, when you were sending that out, my missus was getting off.
Oh, she went off on that. I deleted them all.
Aye, good.
I deleted them all.
And a big shout out.
You were sober.
Remember Colin Henry lookalike? Because it was one day we were going to behave ourselves. We'll get dropped off, Ronnie.
That's right.
Ronnie dropped us off at the beach, and I was just about to order coffees, wasn't it?
That's
and then
true.
Next thing, beer plonked down in front of us, and I looked across, and I thought it was big Colin Henry.
Aye.
I actually saw him in Costco.
He'd better hair than Colin Henry. He'd Colin Henry's original hair, didn't he?
Aye, so lovely guys, but then bang, the beers go down, and you know what it's like once you have one. Well, the coffees was just a distant memory, wasn't it?
That was a great day. We decided we were going to walk to Binus, which is about an hour and a half walk or something. But we stopped at every bar on the way. It was a good day.
A bit
So
messy.
did he get to finger roller then?
No, it was excellent. Anyway, we'll just go on to predictions. All right.
Aye.
So predictions for tomorrow, but also the Killie game on Saturday. So Charlie, do you want to go first?
Oh, I get Charlie.
Tomorrow night I'm going to go 1-2 for us. And Saturday,
Aye.
I think we'll take a few of my wee pals' team. I think we'll.
Somebody actually said you look like Derek McInnes, by the way.
No, Derek McInnes looks like me. I've no beard either. I've shaved the beard.
Aye, no, somebody has mentioned that, saying is that Derek McInnes in the show?
I'm not as old as him. He's 50.
He's not get as good a tan as you.
He's definitely. No, his is fake though.
So what score did you say for Saturday?
I'll say 4.
4.
4. Right.
Is that a plastic pitch in there? Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so we've got that as well.
I to contend with that. So
Aye.
you got to so
Oh, we're doing there.
I
So
think
good.
it is.
and I hope
No,
it's
it
ready.
wasn't.
Are we at home?
We're at home.
Are we?
Come on, Ricky, you should be doing your
Sorry, I know.
homework.
Sorry. I was.
I'm sure we're at home. I'm sure
You're
we're
at
at
home
home.
because
Aye,
I heard
'cause
Derek McInnes talking about it, saying, "Oh, I've got an easy one on Saturday." Like kind of
joking.
jokingly, because he knows.
Because they played at home there, didn't they?
Aye, so and we played away there. Aye, sorry.
They're beat. Aye, that was
So
a draw
4
on
at
Monday
Ibrox,
night.
5 if it was done there.
Right.
I'm going to go a draw tomorrow night. I think it will be it'll be quite tight.
1-1 or something.
Aye, and I would take a draw. Just get them back to Ibrox, and I was going to say we'll give them a doing at Ibrox, but I'm very confident we'll beat them at Ibrox. So listen, I want them to win, of course, but if they were to get a draw tomorrow night, I'd be happy with that. Maybe not as confident as Charlie against Kelly, because I think Derek McInnes is a good manager. He'll have them really well.
He's a good manager as
He is,
well, but I
aye.
still think we're miles ahead of Kemar at
Aye,
the moment.
but I
so.
think I'm. What did you go for? All right, I'll go 3-0.
Right, let's see what I'll do. You're 3-0, right? I'm just writing
You're
this
running
down.
it. You're going to go something daft,
Well,
didn't you?
do you know what? I done actually won a wee bet on Saturday. I done a half time, full time.
Right.
So I Livy first half, Rangers second
was
half.
that 25 to 1 or something?
I boosted it, so I got 28 to 1, put a fiver on it, so it was good.
Still no bought a drink in your life.
£145 or something.
Well done.
I know. So I'm going to go 1-0 Rangers tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm going to go 3-0. Oh, you've said 3-0.
I've said 3-0.
I'll not do that then.
Go 5-0.
I'll do 5.
Charlie,
I'll do
Charlie
5-0.
was thinking about 5-0.
I'll do 5-0. So
We just get through this, get past this USG, and then keep it going in the league. That's all we want.
And
You know,
hopefully
just keep
play
building
PSG.
and building. Aye.
yeah.
Hopefully get through to play
Play a
PSG.
Aye, that'd be good. Right, I've got a few shout outs. I don't know if you've got any shout outs, but that's us near the end of the show. But I've got a few shout outs. Big Stuart Finlay, I don't know if you know him. Nice big guy. He's doing 1 million steps for Diabetes UK. So he is. And he's done, I think he hit a wee milestone at the weekend. He's done about 375,000, which is amazing. Because I don't even think I do about 5,000 steps a day, so that's a big one. Scott Cunningham, he's running a curry and quiz night on the 25th of August in Sati Sings. I'm actually hosting the quiz as well, and that's for the Armed Forces charity. And then the 29th of October, we're over in Bowness, myself, you guys, and Wee Doddy and Derek Johnson.
Oh, we Doddy and Big DJ. Yeah, that's legends, isn't it?
Oh, proper.
That's going to be good.
I love
I was,
being there.
I was in
company.
Gers the other week with Bud and Steenie and Gordon Smith.
Oh,
What a weekend it was.
and I'm in awe of they guys. See when you're just sitting with them.
With Stan as well.
I don't we don't want. We don't want to mention Big Stan.
Ah,
No,
but-
I'm only kidding.
And,
Big
and
Stan.
obviously,
brand new.
Big James for the, and Gooch for the bloody hell. I think I'm losing my
But
marbles.
Charlie,
The Temple Bar.
I don't think, like, say you're talking about Wee Willie, Steenie, Alan McDonald, DG. I don't think they really get that how buzzing we are when we're just sitting about them and having a drink with them.
Funny, I was a runner. I had to run down to the bookies for Steenie, and it was like 35 degrees. It was like being back to when I had to run about for all these ones.
See when we done Blackpool last year, they've been up to me and was like, Ricky, we've got a wee problem. I was like, what's up? We've not put our lottery on the night.
Right,
Yeah, it's like, I said, him and Bud and Big DJ all put a lottery on every week. I said, listen, I'll run down. He said, oh, in fact, I can put it on my phone. Right, so I put it on my phone, and then I didn't check it, right, but the next day I got a wee alert saying you've won the lottery. So I checked, but it was only one of the free tickets. But I text Big DJ and says, listen, we've won, but I don't know what it is yet. I was thinking we'd won the big one, but it was just...
Do you think Big DJ had bought a drink?
I don't know. He was in top form.
Debatable.
He was in top form down in Blackpool that
Was
night, wasn't he? Mind it was me, you, and DJ. And it was so funny because we turned up at the wee Mornington Hotel just across the road.
Mornington, I know that.
Right, and what's her name? Kate, innit? Or
Kate, I love her last
she had a wee key for us, and she's like, "There's your room."
Oh, right, I remember
And,
now.
and Derek's like, "Right, where's mine?" And she looked at it and she's like, "Did Stan not tell you?" It's like, "What?" She said, "You're all staying in the family room." So I was in the top bunk. She was below me, and Big DJ.
He had a
and
big double bed.
I thought Big DJ would, because this was the first time I'd really met him, so I thought he was going to be a bit of a diva. He was fine. He was brilliant. We had a great night.
But that's what you love about them.
Aye,
Because
DJ
there's
is
no
not a diva,
airs and graces about them. They're just, although they were fantastic football players, they're just normal guys. That's what we love about them.
It's brilliant. So hopefully we'll be doing the Gallant Pioneer again soon, because I love it down there.
Oh, it's a brilliant place. John a Gallant
That's it.
Pioneer.
Anyway, I'm
Top
afraid
man.
that's the show finished already. So,
Cheers,
what do you think of your
Ricky.
first show, Charlie?
Good debut.
Yeah, it was fine with my suntan.
What we both like? My voice is a wee bit, because I was singing
We got
karaoke Friday,
advertising there
Saturday.
as well.
I'm just came for training. I was coaching tonight, so I just came straight to
That's
coaching.
cool. Like that.
No, it was great to be back. So that's the end of the first show. We're actually looking for sponsors for the show as well. So if you want to sponsor the show, then just pop us a wee email or get in touch. But we'll be back again next Monday, live at 7:30. All right, take care, guys.